It's likely you've heard the buzzword fixed formula, but has it ever been defined for you? Today we're going to talk about the difference between nutrition locked formulas and fixed formulas. A nutrition locked formula not only utilizes consistent ingredients that are extremely high quality every time, but more importantly, it ensures the horse is going to get consistent nutrient levels. So nutrient levels, think amino acids, think vitamins, think trace minerals, and it's ensuring those are in every single bag. Feeds then that advertised fixed formulas are going to ensure the same ingredients are used every single time. To understand the advantages of a nutrient locked formula, it's probably first most important to understand that ingredients themselves are going to vary in nutrient content. So any ingredient that is grown in Mother Nature is going to have a different nutrient content, slightly varying every single time that ingredient is produced, right? That's going to depend, just like the hay behind me. Every single cutting, even if it's from the same field, the same exact variety of grass or alfalfa that's grown, depending on the maturity that plant is harvested at, depending on the soil condition, the rainfall, the amount of sunlight, those nutrients are going to vary every single time. So to further illustrate that point, let's just say I make up a magic feed. I formulate this magic product, right? And it's made of, let's say, soy hulls and beet pulp, wheat middlings, and dehydrated alfalfa meal. And I lock the ingredients in that formula. Well, if we say, okay, I'm going to use textbook values, let's say, and I'm going to make sure I use the same ingredients with the same exact inclusion levels every single time I make that product. Well, what happens when 2 months later, the manufacturer gets in a new load of those ingredients? Let's say it's the beet pulp and the wheat middlings, for example. Well, obviously it's a new harvest or a new load, and those nutrient levels are going to vary slightly, and sometimes they vary quite a bit. So if we're not measuring for those and we're using the same textbook values every single time, even though we've kept the same ingredients and used the same levels, the finished feed product is indeed going to vary in nutrient content. And thus we're going to see different performance or inconsistent performance in our horses. We're going to see things shift and change. They're going to digest things differently. They're going to maintain different body weight. Their top line might change. And so the difference is with a nutrition locked formula, what we're doing is not only using and choosing to use the same high quality ingredients, we're actually measuring the nutrient content in every load of those ingredients that comes in to our manufacturing facility. So we're accounting for those minor shifts of differences in the nutrient levels that might account in that ingredient. And then we're making sure in the finished feed that we're going to have that consistent nutrient levels every single time for consistent performance in our horses. While the consistent, high-quality ingredients will make sure your horse eats every bag, the consistent nutrients are what will ensure and deliver consistent performance. On the surface, many feeds can appear very similar. They might have similar guaranteed analysis. They might match. They might use similar ingredients, but above and beyond, ask questions of your manufacturer. What are they doing behind the scenes? Are they relying on fixed ingredients or fixed formulas? Or are they going above and beyond and measuring those specific nutrient quantities of every ingredient batch that we know in nature is going to naturally have a shift in nutrient levels? Ask those questions and start there, and I think you'll be well on your way. Ingredients can either be listed on the tag as in collective terms or in specific terms. Collective terminology groups like ingredients together. So for example, grain products, whereas specific terminology will list out those specific individual grain products that would be used. So for example, wheat middlings. They're also going to be generally listed from greatest inclusion to least inclusion in order. On the tag, the ingredient listing and the guaranteed analysis can be really useful, but the quality of ingredients and the sourcing are often dictated or dictate the price of the feed. So unfortunately, the tag tells us a lot, but it doesn't tell us the entire story. Ultimately, the horse will tell you. So two feed tags can look nearly identical or identical, but yet they can work very, very differently in the animal based on the manufacturer's design and based on the quality and sourcing of those ingredients and nutrients in the background. So unfortunately, as much as we'd like the tag to tell us the entire story, you really need to rely on the horse, and the horse is going to be the ultimate judge of how a product is going to work and perform. On the surface, many feeds can appear very similar. They might have similar guaranteed analysis. They might match. They might use similar ingredients, but above and beyond, ask questions of your manufacturer. What are they doing behind the scenes? Are they relying on fixed ingredients or fixed formulas? Or are they going above and beyond and measuring those specific nutrient quantities of every ingredient batch that we know in nature is going to naturally have a shift in nutrient levels? Ask those questions and start there, and I think you'll be well on your way.